So here's what happens most of the time. A business owner calls me. They say, hey, Matt, I'm thinking about selling my business in about 6 months. What can we do? And honestly, at 6 months out, we really can't do that much. Now, if that same owner had called me 3 years before, we can do some really cool stuff. I'm Matt Losanno with Cinder Wealth. In this video, we're going to walk through what's actually possible at different exit planning timelines and why the earlier you start, the more options you have. Quick disclaimer, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute personalized financial, legal, or tax advice. Everyone's situation is different. Always consult your own CPA, attorney, and financial advisor before making any decisions. Exit planning isn't just about paperwork. It's about creating options for you, your family, and your business. The challenge is that a lot of strategies that can save you significant money in taxes or increase your business value, they need time to work. Estate tax strategies, they have IRS timelines. Valuation discounts require proper structure. Cash balance plans need time to set up and be funded before the sale. If you try to do these things 6 months out, you're either breaking the rules or you're just too late. So let's break this down. I'm going to walk you through 2 scenarios, 6 months before exit and 3 years before exit. And I'm going to show you what's actually possible in each time frame. By the way, this applies whether you're selling to a third party, transitioning to a family, or doing some kind of internal buyout. The principles are exactly the same. All right. 6 months before you sell your business, what can we do? Honestly, not a ton. We come at this from 2 angles. Income taxes and estate taxes. There's usually some earned income or depreciation recapture from the sale, and we might be able to set up a cash balance plan to offset some of those income taxes. However, one and done cash balance plans don't accept a lot of cash. Luckily, a lot of that sale is probably going to be taxed as capital gains, not ordinary income, which typically has a better tax rate anyways. Now, if you'll be in a situation where you'll have estate tax exposure, we can move the assets into an irrevocable trust. But frankly, 6 months out, we're not going to save any estate tax dollars because we break the IRS timelines. There are look-back periods, and the IRS uses to make sure you're not doing estate planning and valuation discounts at the last second just to avoid taxes. So really, at 6 months, you're sort of locked out into whatever value you're going to get, and there isn't much we can do on taxes. Whatever you get is what you get. What we can do is financial planning. We can figure out how much money you're actually spending and how much money you really need from the sale. And I found that brings a lot of clarity and comfort. I worked with a client who had a plan from a large firm telling him he needed $50 million to retire. He turned down a $40 million offer because he thought he had to keep pushing. When we redid his plan, it turned out 30 to 35 million would have been more than enough. But by then, the offer was gone. 5 years later, he's still trying to get back to that $40 million valuation. The point is, at 6 months out, we can help you understand your number. We can build a plan for you to live on that amount, but we can't do much to change the outcome or minimize the estate taxes. Remember, these examples are educational, not recommendations for your specific situation. Now, let's talk about 3 years before you exit. This is where things get interesting. 3 years gives us time to actually move the needle, not just on taxes, but on business value and your personal wealth strategy. Here are some of the things we can explore. And again, these would all need to be discussed with your CPA and attorney. Squeeze and freeze strategies. Basically, you squeeze down the value of your business through various discounting techniques, then you freeze it by putting it inside of an irrevocable trust. All that growth when your business sells it 3 years later happen outside of your estate. You could potentially pay $0 in estate taxes on that growth. To be clear, this doesn't work for everyone. It needs to be set up properly, but 3 years gives us time to do it right. Second, your cash balance plan. If you're in your high earning years, and you probably are if you're planning on an exit, you can set up a cash balance plan for 3 or 4 years before the sale. Depending on your age and income, you might be able to contribute $100,000 to $300,000 or more per year. That's a huge tax deduction that offsets the income you're earning while you're building up to the sale. If your CPA confirms you'll have a lot of depreciation recapture, we could also minimally fund the cash balance plan for a few years so we can contribute a very large amount after the sale. Third, increasing business value. 3 years out, you have time to invest in sales, training, marketing, maybe clean up your books, strengthen the leadership team. Those things take time, but they can significantly increase what a buyer is willing to pay. 6 months out, you're not going to meaningfully change your valuation. Fourth, clarity on your number. Just like at 6 months, we can do a full financial plan. But at 3 years, we can say if the right offer comes along, you can take it because you know you need $10 million. You don't have to hold out for $20 million and risk never hitting it. I want to be clear. I'm not saying you have to do this stuff now, but you should be aware there's a time factor. The more time ahead of the game you start, the more options you have. Now, let me give you a few mistakes I see business owners make when it comes to exit planning timelines. First, assuming 1 year is enough. A year sounds like a lot of time, but estate planning, legal restructuring, And some of those more advanced tax strategies, they need more runway than that. Second, waiting for the perfect time. There is never a perfect time, but starting early gives you flexibility. You can take an unexpected offer if it makes sense, or you can wait if the market isn't right. Third, exit planning is just for people who want to retire. Exit planning is really continuity planning. It's about creating options. When you want to fully exit, slow down gradually, or keep some ownership, planning early makes all of those possible. Fourth, not coordinating with your other advisors. Your CPA might know the tax side, your attorney might know the legal side, but if they're not talking to each other and to your financial advisor, things fall through the cracks. That's where a lot of these missed opportunities happen. Again, every situation is different. These are things to explore with your advisors, not blanket recommendation. So here's my takeaway for you. If you're thinking about exiting your business in the next few years, don't wait until 6 months out. At that point, you're probably not going to change the value you get. You're locked in. But if you start planning 3 years ahead of time, or even 5 years if you know where you're going, you have time to reduce taxes, increase value, and build personal wealth outside the business. You've worked hard to build something. Make sure you're getting the most out of it when you decide to move on. If you found this helpful, subscribe to the channel. I put videos on tax planning, exit strategies, and wealth management for business owners. And one last reminder, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not personalized advice. Talk to your CPA, attorney, and financial advisor about your specific situation before making any decisions. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.